Open your champagne, sweetheart, and take a breath, because this is not a celebration they expected, and not a story they wrote for you, and not a moment they planned to witness. This is the quiet second before the sound changes. This is the pause where your heartbeat gets louder than the noise around you. You are not here by accident. You are here because every ordinary day you survived built an uncommon backbone inside you. You are here because you kept walking when clapping was missing. You are here because disappointment trained you when praise was absent. This is not about revenge or proving anything with words. This is about reality finally catching up to your effort. This is about you standing steady while the world realizes it misread the script. They laughed softly when you started, not loudly, not cruelly, just enough to doubt yourself, just enough to make you question your timing, your worth, your direction. They smiled politely when you spoke about your plans. They nodded without listening. They gave advice you did not ask for. They warned you about risks they never took. They measured your future using the limits of their past, and you felt it. You felt the weight of being underestimated. You felt the silence when you needed support. You felt the loneliness of believing in something before it had a shape. That feeling did not break you. It trained you. It taught you how to move without applause. It taught you how to build without permission. If this message is hitting your chest right now, pause for a second and stay with me. If you have ever felt invisible while working harder than anyone around you, then this moment is yours. And if this fire speaks to you, do me one small favor in this journey. Support this space by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping a comment that says, "I am still standing." Not for numbers, but for connection. Because somewhere someone else needs to see that they are not alone in this quiet grind. They thought you would slow down. They thought responsibility would tame your hunger. They thought time would soften your edge. They thought pressure would make you choose comfort over calling. But pressure did not crush you. It clarified you. It showed you what matters and what does not. It stripped away distractions. It forced you to learn discipline. And discipline is not loud. Discipline is boring. Discipline is showing up when motivation is tired. Discipline is choosing the long road when shortcuts are tempting. While they were busy discussing potential, you were busy building proof. Open your champagne, sweetheart, not because you arrived, but because you refused to quit. Not because everything is perfect, but because you became powerful enough to handle imperfection. The joke is not cruel. The joke is ironic. The same world that doubted you is now watching closely. The same voices that question your pace are now curious about your process. The same rooms that overlooked you are now asking for your presence, and you did not change for them. You changed for yourself. Understand this clearly. Success is not an explosion. It is a slow burn. It is a series of unglamorous decisions stacked quietly on top of each other. It is choosing sleep when others choose distraction. It is choosing learning when others choose comfort. It is choosing patience when others choose noise. You did not wake up special. You became dangerous through consistency. And that consistency turned into confidence. Not the loud kind, the calm kind, the kind that does not need approval to move forward. You learned how to be alone without being empty. You learned how to hear your own voice without panic. You learned how to sit with uncertainty without running back to what felt familiar. That is rare. Most people run when things get quiet. You stayed, you listened, you adjusted, you grew. That growth is not visible to everyone yet, and that is okay. Visibility is not the goal. Stability is. Mastery is. Freedom is. There were nights you questioned everything. Mornings you carried doubt like a shadow. Days when progress felt invisible. You still showed up. You still pushed one more inch. You still chose effort over excuses. That is why this moment feels different. Not because the world changed, because you did. You no longer need permission to believe in yourself. You no longer need validation to continue. You no longer need applause to perform. Open your champagne, sweetheart, because the punchline is simple. You became the person you needed when you started, and that version of you is unstoppable. The laughter faded, the opinions aged, the noise moved on to the next distraction. But you remained focused. Focus is a superpower in a distracted world, and you protected it fiercely. If you are still listening and this is resonating, take another second with me. Share this message. Leave a comment about what you are building. Subscribe and stay connected. Not because this channel needs you, but because you deserve reminders like this when the road feels heavy. We rise better together, even when the work is done alone. This is not about showing off. This is about showing up. This is about integrity. About doing the work when no one is counting. About choosing growth over comfort again and again. About becoming so grounded that external opinions lose their grip. You are not chasing approval anymore. You are chasing alignment, and alignment creates peace. They will try to rewrite the story. They will say they always believed in you. They will remember things differently. Let them. You do not need to correct the past to enjoy the present. You do not need to explain your journey to enjoy your destination. Your results will speak with clarity, quietly, confidently, completely. Open your champagne, sweetheart, and smile softly. Not out of pride, but out of gratitude. Gratitude for the struggle that shaped you. Gratitude for the doubt that sharpened you. Gratitude for the patience that saved you. Gratitude for the version of you that did not quit when quitting looked reasonable. The punchline is about to land, not with noise, but with truth. You are never behind. You are being prepared. You do not rush this moment because you understand something now that you did not before. Speed impresses people, but direction protects you. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, and that single decision saved your energy. You learn that growth is not loud, and progress is not always visible. Some seasons are about planting roots, not showing fruit. And you stayed committed even when the ground looked empty. That patience carved strength into your character that no shortcut could ever replace. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were never truly listening. You stopped shrinking your dreams to make others comfortable. You stopped apologizing for wanting more from life. Not more attention, not more approval, but more meaning, more depth, more control over your own time. You realize that ambition is not arrogance when it is paired with humility and work, and you carry that balance quietly, like a steady flame that does not flicker in the wind. Every setback taught you something that success never could. You learned how to adapt when plans failed. You learned how to think when emotions were heavy. You learned how to keep promises to yourself when no one else was watching. That is why you trust yourself now, not blindly, but honestly, because you have evidence. You have memories of moments when quitting would have been easier, and you chose discipline instead. There is a calm in you now that did not exist before, a calm that comes from knowing you can handle pressure without losing yourself. You do not panic when things move slowly. You do not chase every opportunity. You choose carefully. You move intentionally. You understand that not everything meant for you arrives loudly. Some of the best things enter quietly and stay permanently. People might still misunderstand you. Let them. Misunderstanding is lighter than compromise. You no longer bend your values for temporary acceptance. You no longer trade your long-term vision for short-term comfort. You know what you are building even if others cannot see it yet. and that clarity is your anchor. Open your champagne, sweetheart, because this moment is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving yourself right. Right for trusting your instincts, right for honoring your pace, right for staying consistent when motivation disappeared. You earned this inner confidence one decision at a time. You are no longer waiting for the perfect time. You learned that perfection is just fear, dressed in planning. You move forward, prepared but not paralyzed. You act even when conditions are not ideal, because action creates clarity, and clarity builds momentum. Remember this feeling, not the excitement, but the steadiness. This is what real progress feels like. Not chaotic, not dramatic, just solid, just real, just yours. Carry it with you into whatever comes next, because the journey does not end here. It evolves, and so do you. The punchline lands quietly but powerfully. You were never the joke. You were the lesson. And now the world is paying attention not because you demanded it, but because your work made it impossible to ignore. You walk forward now with a different posture, not louder, not aggressive, not desperate, just grounded. Your steps are measured because you finally trust the ground beneath you. You are not rushing to arrive because you understand arrival is temporary, but becoming is permanent. You are no longer chasing moments, you are building systems. You are no longer hoping for luck, you are relying on preparation. That shift alone separates you from most people who quit too early. You learned how to sit with discomfort without letting it define you. You learned that boredom is often the doorway to mastery. While others needed excitement to stay engaged, you stayed disciplined, even when days felt repetitive. That repetition sharpened your skills quietly. That repetition built muscle memory in your mind. And one day you realized things that once felt hard, now felt natural. That is growth. Silent, undeniable, earned. You stopped looking for motivation everywhere because you realized motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline stays. Purpose stays. And you chose to anchor yourself to those. You created routines that support your future self. You learned when to push and when to rest. You respected your energy instead of wasting it trying to impress people who were not invested in your journey. There is a confidence in knowing you can start again if needed. Because you have done it before. You rebuilt when things fell apart. You adjusted when plans collapsed. You did not let one failure turn into an identity. You treated it as information, as feedback, as part of the process. That mindset alone changed everything. Open your champagne, sweetheart, because the quiet wins matter. The days you showed up tired matter. The moments you chose honesty over comfort matter. The nights you stayed focused while others were distracted matter. These are not small things. These are the bricks that built your foundation. And a strong foundation does not shake when attention arrives. You are not intimidated by other people's success anymore. You can admire without envy. You can learn without comparison. Because you know your lane, you know your pace, you know your direction. And that clarity protects your peace. You celebrate others genuinely because you are no longer afraid of being left behind. There is also humility in you now, not the kind that hides, but the kind that listens. You know you do not know everything. You stay curious. You stay teachable. You stay open. That openness keeps you evolving, and evolution is the real advantage. Those who stop learning eventually fall behind no matter how talented they are. Some people will only notice you when results are visible. That is human nature. Do not hold resentment. Do not seek validation. Simply keep moving. You know who stood with you early. You know who doubted quietly. You know who disappeared. And you also know it does not matter anymore, because your relationship with yourself is solid. Open your champagne, sweetheart, and understand this deeply. You are not defined by how many people believe in you. You are defined by how many times you believed in yourself, when belief felt irrational. That kind of self-trust cannot be taken away. It cannot be borrowed. It must be built. And you built it. You no longer need to announce your moves. You let outcomes speak. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. You learn that not everyone deserves access to your plans. Some people only understand after results. And that is okay. You are not here to convince. You are here to execute. As attention slowly turns your way, you remain steady. You do not let praise inflate you. You do not let criticism derail you. You stay centered. Because extremes are dangerous. You choose balance. You choose consistency. You choose long-term thinking in a world addicted to instant reactions. There will be new challenges ahead. New levels bring new pressure. But you are ready. Because you are no longer chasing identity through achievement. You know who you are without the spotlight. And that is why the spotlight will not change you. The punchline continues to land again and again, in small moments. When someone asks how you did it, when someone seeks your advice, when opportunities appear that once felt distant, you smile quietly, because you remember the days no one asked, and you are grateful for both seasons. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new chapter written with intention. You carry forward everything you learned. You protect your values. You respect your process. You keep building, even when it gets comfortable, because comfort can be as dangerous as struggle. Open your champagne, sweetheart, and take this moment in fully. Not to pause your growth, but to honor it. Honor how far you have come. Honor who you became along the way. Honor the patience, the discipline, the courage. The joke was never on you. The joke was on doubt. And the punchline is your persistence, standing tall, calm, and undeniable. You start noticing how your reactions have changed. Things that once triggered insecurity now pass through you without settling. Opinions float by like background noise. You listen when there is wisdom, and you let go when there is none. This emotional control did not come from pretending not to care. It came from caring deeply about the right things. You stopped giving your energy to distractions and started investing it in direction. That choice refined you. You also learned the value of time, not just managing it, but respecting it. You became aware that every hour carries weight. You stopped wasting days on people who drained you and habits that delayed you. You chose environments that challenged you. You chose conversations that expanded you. You chose solitude when necessary and connection when meaningful. Time stopped feeling like something you were chasing and started feeling like something you were shaping. There is a quiet pride in knowing you earned your progress honestly. No shortcuts, no borrowed confidence, no pretending. Just steady effort, layered over patience. That pride does not need to be displayed. It lives inside you. It shows up in how you speak calmly under pressure. It shows up in how you treat others with respect, without lowering your standards. It shows up in how you stay composed when things do not go your way. You understand now that growth often feels like loss at first. You lost versions of yourself that were comfortable but limited. You lost relationships that thrived on who you were, not who you were becoming. You lost habits that felt familiar, but kept you small. Letting go was not easy, but it was necessary. And every release made room for something stronger to enter. Open your champagne, sweetheart, because you did not just change your circumstances. You changed your mindset. You stopped seeing obstacles as signs to stop. and started seeing them as signals to adapt. You stopped asking why this is happening to me and started asking what this is teaching me. That shift turned problems into preparation. It turned pressure into polish. You became aware of your inner dialogue. You no longer speak to yourself with doubt. You speak with honesty and encouragement. You hold yourself accountable without tearing yourself down. You understand that self-respect is built in private moments when no one else is watching, and you guard that self-respect fiercely. You also learn to wait without anxiety. Waiting used to feel like being left behind. Now it feels like gathering strength. You trust timing because you trust yourself. You know that rushing into the wrong moment costs more than waiting for the right one, and that patience has saved you more times than you realize. People will notice the difference even if they cannot name it. They will sense your stability. They will feel your presence. Not because you demand attention, but because you are fully present in who you are. That presence comes from alignment, from living in a way that matches your values, from no longer performing for approval. You are not obsessed with outcomes anymore. You are committed to process. You show up consistently and let results unfold naturally. This detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you care wisely. You focus on what you can control and release what you cannot. That wisdom keeps you moving forward without burning out. Open your champagne, sweetheart, because you built resilience that cannot be shaken easily. Life will test you again. That is guaranteed. But you are no longer afraid of tests. You know they reveal strength, and you trust your ability to respond with clarity rather than panic. You also understand that success is not a personality. It is a responsibility to stay grounded, to stay grateful, to stay human. You remember where you started. You remember the uncertainty. And that memory keeps you humble and focused. There is a deeper purpose guiding you now. Not just achievement, but impact. Not just progress, but meaning. You want your work to matter. You want your presence to add value. You want your journey to inspire without preaching. And that intention shapes every decision you make. The road ahead is not empty. It is open. Open for refinement. Open for expansion. Open for contribution. You walk it without fear because you know you can handle what comes. You have already handled so much quietly. Open your champagne, sweetheart, and recognize this truth. You did not become unstoppable by force. You became unstoppable by understanding yourself, by honoring your limits and extending them slowly, by choosing growth over ego, by choosing patience over panic. The punchline keeps landing in subtle ways, in the confidence of your silence, in the steadiness of your actions, in the respect you command without demanding it. This is what real power looks like. Calm, clear, earned, and you keep going. Not because you are chasing something outside yourself, but because you have found something within that refuses to settle for less than what you know is possible. So as this message comes to a close, let it settle instead of rush past you. Let it breathe inside your chest. This was never meant to hype you for a moment and leave you empty after. This was meant to remind you of something steady, something real, something already alive inside you. You are not standing at the edge of something fragile. You are standing on something solid that you built layer by layer, choice by choice, day by day. Ladies and gentlemen, gather close. Let's talk about entitlement, the grand illusion, the biggest joke of them all. There's a certain kind of arrogance, a confidence so bloated, it forgets the very rules of existence. It convinces someone they can stomp shout, tear you down piece by piece, all while expecting you to sit there and take it with a smile. It whispers lies in their ears, wrapping them in a blanket of delusion that they are above reproach, untouchable by the consequences of their actions. This arrogance is a poison. It grows unchecked. It destroys everything in its path. It feeds on the weak and thrives on the silent, the ones who shrink away into the background as the abuser roars with the power of their perceived supremacy. But I say no more. I say it's time we tear down this facade. Let the masks fall. Let their egos shatter because you stood against their relentless abuse. You stood tall when they expected you to bow, and they could not handle it. They were not prepared for your resistance. They had built themselves up on a pedestal made of lies, deceit, and manipulation. They thought they could break you, bend you, mold you into something small, something insignificant. They wanted you to shrink. They wanted you to disappear into the shadows. But you did not disappear. You did not bend. You stood firm. And because of that, their ego is shattered. Because they underestimated the power that lies within you. Because you showed them the truth they feared, the truth they couldn't bear to acknowledge. And now, their illusion of power lies in ruins. Their sense of control has been ripped away, piece by piece, as you refuse to play by their rules, the rules they thought were unbreakable, because they knew how to twist the game in their favor. They knew how to manipulate the system to their benefit. But you exposed it all. You showed them that they are not as untouchable as they thought. They are not invincible. They are not the kings and queens of this world they pretend to be. No, they are fragile. They are vulnerable. They are weak. And now, they will have to face the consequences of their actions. Because you stood against them when they thought they had the upper hand. You refused to be intimidated. You refused to cower in the face of cruelty. And the more you stood your ground, the more they realized they were not dealing with someone who would submit to their will. Number, you are a force that cannot be controlled, a force that cannot be bent or broken. And now that they've seen that, now that they've realized their mistake, their ego has taken the biggest hit they've ever known. And it hurts them, doesn't it? It stings to their core because they thought they were untouchable. They thought their words could tear you down. Their actions could break you. They thought you were weak. They thought you were nothing but a stepping stone for them to climb higher on. But now they see the truth, and the truth is this: you are not weak. You are not insignificant. You are not a stepping stone. You are a force in your own right, a force that they can no longer control, a force that they must reckon with, a force that leaves them trembling in their own fragility. So when you see their ego shatter, when you see their arrogance crumble, know this: it is the result of your strength. It is the result of your defiance. It is the result of your refusal to be silenced. Their ego is shattered because you had the courage to stand up when they expected you to fall. You had the strength to fight back when they wanted you to give up. And the more you did it, the more they realized that they were not dealing with someone who would just roll over and take it. They were dealing with someone who would fight back, who would stand tall, who would make their presence known. And the more you did it, the more their illusion of power dissolved. Their arrogance crumbled like a house of cards. The harder they tried to push, the more it backfired on them. Because the moment you stood up to them, the moment you stopped being afraid, the moment you showed them that their power over you was nothing but a lie, that's when they started to lose control. That's when their ego began to wither. And as their ego shattered, you stood tall. You stood proud because you knew the truth. You knew that no matter how hard they tried to tear you down, you would not be broken. You would not be defeated. And now they are left with nothing but the ruins of their own arrogance, nothing but the remains of a broken ego that can never be put back together. Because you showed them that they are not above you. They are not better than you. They are not invincible. They are human just like you. And in their humanity, they are vulnerable. They are weak. They are flawed. And you showed them that you are stronger than they ever imagined. You are capable of more than they could ever understand. You are a force of nature that cannot be broken. And that is what shatters their ego. It's not just the fact that you resisted them. It's not just the fact that you stood up to them. It's the fact that you showed them something they never saw coming. You showed them your strength. You showed them your resilience. And that is something they can never ignore. No matter how hard they try, no matter how much they scream, no matter how much they try to intimidate you, they will never be able to take back what you've done. They will never be able to erase the fact that you stood against them. And their ego shattered because of it. Their arrogance, their entitlement, their delusion of control, it all crumbled because you refused to be a victim. You refused to let them dictate your life. And now, they have to face the consequences of their own actions. Because when you stand up to abuse, when you stand up to tyranny, when you stand up to oppression, you change the world in ways they never expected. When you refuse to be a punching bag, when you refuse to be silenced, when you refuse to let them break you, you create a ripple effect that shakes everything around you. And they are left to deal with the fallout. They are left to face the consequences of their cruelty. And the more they try to act like it doesn't bother them, the more they try to pretend they are unaffected, the more they reveal the truth that their ego was never as strong as they thought it was, the truth that they were always fragile, always vulnerable, always terrified of being exposed for who they really are. And now, they are exposed. Now, the world sees them for what they truly are, fragile, broken human beings who hide behind their ego to avoid facing their insecurities, their fears, their weaknesses. And when you expose that truth, when you force them to confront the reality of their own brokenness, their ego shatters into 1,000 pieces. And they can't put it back together. They can't rebuild what's been destroyed because the foundation was never solid to begin with. And that's the power you have. You have the power to expose the lie they've been living. You have the power to shatter the illusion they've spent years building. And when you do that, you change everything. You change the way they see themselves. You change the way they see the world around them. You change the way they interact with others. You change the way they treat people. And in that change, they will be forced to confront the truth they were never prepared for. The truth that they are not invincible. The truth that they are not untouchable. The truth that they are not above anyone else. And that truth is, their ego is fragile. It is a house of cards waiting to collapse at any moment. And when you stand against them, when you resist their abuse, when you refuse to let them control you, when you refuse to let them break you, their ego shatters like glass, crashing to the ground. And in that moment, you know that you've won, because you didn't just survive their abuse, you didn't just endure their cruelty, you destroyed their illusion, you exposed their weakness, and in doing so, you showed them who's really in control. So stand tall, stand proud, because you are the one who changed everything. You are the one who shattered their ego. You are the one who showed them the truth about themselves. And there is no greater victory than that. Because when you shatter their ego, you strip them of the power they once had over you. You show them that no matter how much they try to tear you down, no matter how much they try to destroy you, you will never be defeated. You will never be broken. And that is what shatters their ego. It's the realization that they were never in control. It's the realization that they were always vulnerable. It's the realization that their power was nothing more than an illusion. And when that illusion is broken, when that mask falls, there is nothing left but the raw truth. The truth that they are just as fragile as anyone else. And that truth will haunt them for the rest of their lives. So let them try to rebuild their ego. Let them try to regain their control. But they can't. Because once you've shattered it, once you've exposed the lie, once you've taken away their power, they can never have it back. The illusion is gone. The mask is gone. And they are left to face the reality of their own brokenness. And there is no escaping that reality. And that is your victory. That is your power. That is the power of standing up against abuse and tyranny. The power of standing tall in the face of cruelty and never backing down. You have won, because their ego is shattered, and there is nothing they can do to fix it. Nothing they can do to rebuild it. Nothing they can do to regain the control they thought they had over you. They are exposed, they are vulnerable, they are weak, and they will never forget that truth. In the end, you showed them that the greatest power of all is the power to stand against oppression, to stand against abuse, to stand against cruelty, and come out victorious. The moment you stand against the ones who believe they have power over you, something powerful happens. It's not just about what they lose, it's about what you gain. When their illusions start to crumble, you stand taller, you stand stronger. Their falsehoods become apparent. And with that clarity, they reveal just how fragile they are. The truth always has a way of making its presence known, even in the darkest of spaces. And when you stood against their abuse, you not only made them aware of their own fragility, you made yourself aware of your own strength. This is where true power lies. In standing firm against the crushing weight of abuse, you not only dismantle their control, you rebuild yourself stronger than before. They thought they had you pegged. They thought you were weak. They thought they could break you. They thought you would bend, kneel, and ultimately submit to their cruelty. But in standing up, you shattered their belief system. You exposed the cracks in the foundation of their lies, and it terrified them. That's what they feared most. The realization that their manipulation could be seen through, that their words had no substance, and that the terror they wielded was nothing more than a smokescreen, hiding their own vulnerabilities. They lived in a bubble of entitlement, surrounded by their falsehoods, thinking they were untouchable. You broke that bubble. You broke it with a quiet strength, with the simple decision to no longer submit. You didn't need to scream, to raise your voice, or to escalate the situation. No. All you had to do was show them that you were not afraid, that you were not their victim. And when they realized this, when they understood that they could no longer control you, their ego crumbled, and it broke them in a way that no amount of power, no amount of manipulation could ever heal. Their arrogance, their desperate grasp at control was exposed for what it truly was, a mask, a shield made of paper-thin pretensions. They spent so much of their energy creating this facade that when it began to crack, when you no longer allowed them to hold power over you, they were left defenseless. And what happens? When you remove the illusion of power from someone, they become small, insignificant, weak. The very thing they built their entire identity upon, their ego, begins to erode, slowly at first and then rapidly, as they realize they have nothing left to hide behind. The most beautiful part of this transformation is that it's not about revenge. It's not about causing pain in return for the suffering they inflicted on you. It's about reclaiming your power, reclaiming your voice. It's about finally recognizing your own worth and understanding that no one, not even them, has the right to diminish you, to control you, or to destroy you. It's about standing in your truth, unapologetically. And once you do that, there is nothing they can do to stop you. Their ego, which they built up to control you, is a fragile structure. It's based on fear, on lies, on manipulation. And when faced with the truth, it is bound to fall. You don't need to destroy them. You don't need to retaliate. All you need to do is stand tall, unwavering, in the knowledge that you are no longer their puppet, their target, or their plaything. Do you see how powerful that is? You didn't need to become them. You didn't need to adopt their methods. You didn't need to stoop to their level of cruelty. No, you simply refused to let them control your life. And that refusal is what broke their hold over you. It's what shattered their ego. Because deep down, they were always afraid that one day someone would stand against them. Someone would see through the mask, and someone would not allow them to continue their reign of terror. And now, that someone is you. They thought their words were weapons. They thought their cruelty was a shield they could hide behind. But what they didn't know was that their abuse was only a reflection of their own insecurity, of their own lack of control, of their own fear. They wanted to crush your spirit so that they could maintain their illusion of power, but instead, they crushed their own ego. And that's the part they can never recover from. Their whole identity was wrapped up in the lie that they were in control. But in truth, they were always afraid, always hiding behind their arrogance, behind their self-made illusions, behind the power they thought they could project. And when you stood up to them, you forced them to face that truth, the truth they never wanted to see. The truth that their ego was nothing more than a shield, protecting them from the deep, unresolved insecurities that plagued them. Now, they are left exposed, raw, vulnerable, without the facade they spent so long building. They are no longer in control. And you are standing in the light. You are standing in your own truth. And that is a power that no one can ever take from you. They thought they had the upper hand, didn't they? They thought that with every word, every insult, every manipulation, they were cutting you down, building their own throne at your expense. But you didn't break. You didn't fall. You fought back with resilience, with strength, and with the quiet power of someone who refuses to be dominated. And in doing so, you made them see their own weakness. You showed them the one thing they could never admit, that they are as fragile as everyone else. What's more dangerous than an inflated ego? An ego that is never confronted, never questioned, never challenged. It grows out of control. It convinces the one who wears it that they are above everyone else, that they are untouchable. But the moment you stand against it, the moment you confront it, it has nowhere to go. It is exposed for what it truly is. Fear. A fear of being vulnerable. A fear of being seen for what they truly are. Imperfect, insecure, fragile. When you stood against them, you showed them that their control was a mirage. It was never real. Their power was a lie. Their ego was just a shield they used to hide from the truth of who they really are. And now that the mask has fallen, they are left standing alone, with nothing to hide behind, with nothing to protect them. They are naked, exposed, and vulnerable, and they know it. Their ego is shattered because you stood your ground, because you refused to be intimidated, because you refused to let their lies define you. You refused to let their cruelty dictate your life. And in doing so, you exposed them. You exposed the truth. It's not about vengeance, it's about truth. It's about refusing to be silenced, refusing to let someone else's arrogance define your existence. You didn't let them tear you down. You didn't let them win. And now, their ego lies in ruins. They can never rebuild it. Not after you've seen through it. Not after you've forced them to face it. And that, my friends, is the most powerful victory of all. In the end, you didn't just survive. You thrived. You stood up. You pushed back. And when their ego shattered, when their illusion of control fell apart, you were left standing, stronger than before. You didn't let them define you. You defined yourself. and that is something they will never understand. Now, they are exposed. Now, they are vulnerable. Now, they are left with nothing but the broken pieces of their own ego. And that's what happens when someone dares to stand against the cruelty, against the manipulation, against the abuse. When you stand against it, you shatter the ego that once held them up, and in doing so, you claim your own power. So, stand tall, stand proud, because you have done what they never thought possible. You have destroyed their illusion. You have shattered their ego, and that is your greatest victory. As you stand there victorious, having weathered the storm of their abuse, you come to realize something profound. The strength it took to stand against their tyranny, the courage to face the wrath of their ego, was not only the proof of your own power, it was the proof of your resilience. In the face of relentless assault, in the face of cruelty designed to break you, you chose not to fold, not to fade into silence, not to crumble under the weight of their expectations. You know that the true battle wasn't fought in the words, the manipulation, or the physical confrontations. No, the true battle was fought within you. It was the battle between succumbing to their abuse or rising above it, taking control of your own destiny, and refusing to allow their actions to define who you are. In that very act of standing against them, of not bending to their will, you found something far more powerful than any word or insult they could throw at you. You found your own strength. It is often said that the greatest warriors are those who don't seek the fight. They don't desire confrontation. They don't revel in the chaos of war. Instead, they fight when they must, when the cause is just, when their values are at stake, when their spirit is being crushed under the weight of someone else's ego. You didn't ask for the battle. You didn't seek this conflict. But when it came to you, when their arrogance pushed too far, when their abuse became too much to bear, you fought. And now that they are confronted with the aftermath of your strength, they know that they have been exposed for who they truly are. They are no longer cloaked in the illusion of control. Their actions, their words, their very sense of superiority are now laid bare for all to see. The longer they try to maintain the facade, the more it crumbles. Because deep down, they know the truth. They know that the moment they crossed that line, the moment they began to think they could control you, they sealed their own fate. But here's the beauty of it. Their ego was never real. Their strength was never their own. The power they exerted over others was nothing more than a carefully constructed mask, an illusion, a lie that was built on manipulation and cruelty. And when that lie is exposed, when you stand against it, when you make it known that their abuse will not be tolerated, that mask cannot withstand the force of your truth. In that moment of resistance, you became a mirror. You reflected back to them the darkness they had been feeding into the world, and they couldn't look away. They had to confront themselves, their fear, their vulnerability, their weakness. That is the moment when their ego shatters, when they realize that they no longer have control over you or anyone else. Their power was never based on substance. It was based on their ability to manipulate the situation to their advantage. But once you pulled the rug out from under them, once you removed the illusion, they are left to fall back into the emptiness they've been hiding from all along. It is that emptiness that terrifies them. For the first time, they are forced to face the person they truly are, stripped of the armor they so carefully built to protect their fragile ego. They no longer have a weapon to wield, no false narrative to control the story. They are bare, exposed, vulnerable. And that vulnerability, that rawness, is what frightens them the most, because it shows them that their entire existence has been a facade. It's been a mask. It's been a lie. And here's where the power lies. In shattering the ego, You don't only dismantle their control, you also free yourself from the chains that bound you to their manipulation. When they thought they could break you, they didn't realize they were setting you free. Every insult, every attempt to crush your spirit, every word designed to reduce you, they've unknowingly been chiseling away at their own power. And in doing so, they've unknowingly paved the way for your freedom. Freedom, in its truest form, comes not from escaping an external force, but from realizing that you never had to be bound to that force in the first place. They might have thought they had power over you, but you were never truly theirs to control. When you stood against them, you stripped away their illusion of control, and in doing so, you discovered that your strength was never in their hands. It was always within you. And now, as their ego lies shattered on the ground, they will try to rebuild. They will attempt to regroup, to plot a new path, to regain the sense of dominance they once had. But they can never fully repair the damage. Because the truth, once revealed, cannot be undone. The illusion they worked so hard to maintain will always have cracks. And the more they try to cover those cracks, the more they reveal the truth behind them. The truth is that they are just as vulnerable as anyone else. They are as human as the rest of us. They are not invincible, and their arrogance was never the shield they thought it was. In truth, it was a prison, a cage they built for themselves out of fear. And now, that fear has been exposed. Now, they are faced with the consequences of their actions, and there is no way to avoid them. But here's the final lesson in all of this. When you stand against abuse, when you stand against manipulation, you not only break their ego, you also break the cycle. You become a beacon for others who might be suffering in silence, who might be living under the weight of someone else's cruelty. By standing tall, by showing them that resistance is possible, you become a symbol of hope. You show others that they too can rise above the abuse, that they too can find their voice. That is the power of breaking an ego. It doesn't just destroy the person who seeks to control. It also lifts up everyone around them. It creates a ripple effect of strength and resilience, a movement of people who refuse to be broken, who refuse to be silenced. When one person stands tall, others see it, others feel it, and they too stand taller. And so, the cycle of abuse is broken, not just for one, but for all who dare to follow. So as you stand here, victorious, know that the fight you waged wasn't just for you. It was for all those who will follow, for all those who will look to you and realize that they too can stand. They too can refuse to be controlled, to be dominated, to be broken. You've paved the way for them. You've shown them that their voice matters. You've shown them that they have the power to stand up to abuse, to manipulate their own narrative, and to rise above the cruelties that would seek to destroy them. Your victory is not just yours. It belongs to everyone who is still struggling, to everyone who has been made to feel small, to everyone who has been told they are nothing. Your victory is proof that no one is truly powerless. Everyone has the strength to stand up, to speak out, to break the chains of abuse. Your refusal to submit to their ego is the seed that will grow into a forest of resistance. So stand proud, stand firm, because in shattering their ego, you have not only freed yourself, you have freed countless others. And that is the ultimate victory. That is the power you hold. That is the legacy you leave behind. The battle you fought was not one of violence, but one of truth. And truth, when spoken with strength, with courage, and with conviction, is the most powerful weapon of all. Their ego is shattered, but in its place, you've built something far more enduring. You've built a legacy that cannot be undone. As long as you remember this power, as long as you stand firm in your truth, you will always be the one who holds the upper hand. Because no matter how much they try, no matter how much they scream, their ego will never recover from the impact of your resistance. And that, my friends, is the victory you have earned. And that victory will echo for generations to come. In the end, standing against abuse and manipulation is not just about breaking the ego of those who seek to control you. It's about reclaiming your power, your voice, and your truth. The victory you've achieved is not only for yourself, but for anyone who has ever been silenced, oppressed, or made to feel small. You have shown them that resistance is possible, that strength comes from standing tall in the face of cruelty, and that no one is ever truly powerless. Your courage has shattered their ego, and in doing so, you've created a legacy of resilience that will inspire and empower others long after the battle is over. That community that has been circling around you, throwing doubts, judgments, whispers, and cold stares, they have been trying to dim your light, yet they do not realize that every attack, every word spoken in malice, every effort to push you down, is shaping a stage for your rise. They do not see that the more they push, the higher you ascend. The more they doubt, the more you are chosen. TMH has placed his hand upon you in ways they cannot comprehend. You have been anointed not because you asked for it, not because you begged for attention, not because the world was ready, but because the divine does not wait for permission. You are walking in destiny that was written long before their opinions, their ridicule, their fear could touch you. And today, the world, starting with that community that has tried to contain you, is being forced to witness something it has never seen before. It begins with a stillness within, the quiet whispers of your spirit that no one hears, the late nights when your heart is heavy and your mind wrestles with doubt. These moments are the proving grounds of your anointing. Each tear that falls, each sleepless night, each battle within yourself is evidence that the hand of TMH is on you. They see the surface. They see what they want to believe, that you are fragile, that you will break, that you will settle. But they do not see the unseen. They do not see the moments when you pray with your entire being, the moments when you make sacrifices silently, the moments when you rise even when the world is trying to chain you. They cannot see what the divine sees. They cannot perceive the power that is forming within you. There is a certain beauty in being misunderstood, in being judged, in being resisted. For what is resistance but proof that you are moving toward a territory they cannot enter? For what is opposition but confirmation that you are walking a path reserved for the chosen? Every time they speak, it is a reminder of your uniqueness. Every time they try to define you, it is a confirmation that you cannot be defined. Every attempt to stop you is a declaration that what you carry is not ordinary. TMH is not a respecter of human opinion. He is a magnifier of destiny. He does not just lift you above the crowd. He positions you in a place where your rise is undeniable, where your presence becomes unavoidable, where even those who doubted cannot look away. You may feel weary. You may feel drained. The attacks may have made you question your value, made you second-guess your purpose, made you wonder if the journey is too heavy to carry. But in those moments of despair, you must remember that your endurance is your evidence. Your persistence is your witness. The very fact that you continue, that you rise after every fall, that you keep walking when the world has built walls in your path, is proof that TMH is training you, strengthening you, marking you for something greater than comfort, greater than acceptance, greater than human recognition. You are being prepared for a stage so high that those who tried to diminish you will have no choice but to acknowledge the light that was in you all along. It is easy to be swayed by the noise of the world. It is easy to let their words, their laughter, their assumptions make you shrink. But let me remind you, those who attack you are not seeing your full reflection. They are seeing a shadow of doubt projected by their own limitations. They cannot see your clarity because their eyes are clouded by fear. They cannot feel your power because they are tethered to disbelief. But you are untouchable in your anointing. You are shielded by a force greater than human understanding. You are moving in a favor that no weapon formed against you can withstand, a wisdom that no argument can overturn, a presence that cannot be silenced. And that is why, when the time comes, they will be forced to see it. They will be forced to witness the manifestation of a calling that was beyond their comprehension. Think about the moments they laughed at your dreams, the times they mocked your vision, the nights they whispered that you would never rise. Every one of those moments is now fuel. Every doubt, every insult, every cold shoulder is now fuel for your ascent. They have built walls, and yet every wall is teaching you the art of breaking through. Every obstacle is training you in resilience. Every scorn is engraving a strength into your soul that no cheer, no comfort, no false praise could ever give. TMH is not making you strong in a way that the world understands. He is making you unstoppable in a way that the world cannot ignore. Do not mistake this anointing for popularity, for applause, or for immediate recognition. Anointing is deeper than approval. It is invisible until it becomes undeniable. It is a fire that burns quietly until it becomes a blaze. It is a seed planted in soil too rich for human vision, and it grows in ways that defy logic, that challenge expectation, that make the impossible inevitable. And the community that thought they could stop you will find themselves staring at a force they cannot question, a presence they cannot diminish, a journey they cannot derail. TMH does not create delays by mistake. He does not allow opposition without reason. Everything has a timeline, and your timeline is unstoppable. If you are listening to this, I want you to take a deep breath and understand the truth. What they say about you, what they attempt to control about you, cannot alter what TMH has ordained. Your value, your purpose, your destiny is untouched by their disbelief. They cannot corrupt it, they cannot weaken it, and they cannot steal it. What they try to take from you is already protected, already invested, already destined to manifest. They are witnesses in training, being forced to see the anointing that they ignored. And while their eyes were closed, you were rising quietly, unseen, unshaken, undefeated. I know some of you watching right now feel the weight of loneliness. I know you feel the ache of being surrounded by people who cannot celebrate your wins, who cannot understand your moves, who cannot see the divine favor on you. But here is the secret. TMH has placed you where you belong, even if no one else can see it yet. And when the world finally catches a glimpse of your ascent, it will not be because of them opening their eyes willingly. It will be because the hand of God has moved on your life in ways too spectacular for denial. They will not have a choice but to recognize your path. They will not be able to dispute the power you carry. They will not be able to unsee what has been forged in you through trials, through prayers, through perseverance. Now, I want to pause for a moment and speak to those who feel discouraged about sharing their journey. If you have been inspired by this message, if your spirit is waking up to the power that has always been inside you, then take a moment to engage. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below, share your story, and subscribe for more messages that lift, challenge, and remind you of the anointing you carry. Your engagement is not just a click, it is a declaration that you are aligned with destiny, that you are refusing to hide, that you are standing in truth while the world tries to whisper doubt. Your words may ignite someone else who feels unseen, unheard, underestimated, and this ripple cannot be stopped. And for those who are already walking the path of resistance, Remember this: do not be discouraged by those who fail to recognize your power. TMH sees your every step. He acknowledges your courage. He magnifies your efforts. When they mock, when they doubt, when they try to control or belittle, remember that every reaction from them is a reflection of your elevation. Keep moving, keep trusting, keep standing, because the day comes when your life becomes a testimony too vivid to ignore, a display too powerful to deny, and a reality too undeniable for any opposition to contain. You may not realize it yet, but every challenge you face, every moment of resistance, every hand that pushes you down is preparing you for a level of power and influence you cannot yet imagine. There is a strange beauty in this struggle because it is proving to you and to the world that what they thought could break you will only make you stronger. They see weakness, they see struggle, they see moments when you hesitate, and yet they cannot see the quiet determination that rises within you, the strength that does not announce itself, the power that moves silently but effectively. TMH is shaping you in ways that defy human measurement, planting a fire in your soul that no ridicule, no attack, no doubt can ever extinguish. Some days, it may feel as if the world itself is against you. The community that surrounds you may appear relentless, as if their collective energy is designed solely to stop your progress, to make you question every decision, to make you feel small and unworthy. And yet, this is the very thing that confirms your anointing. For the divine does not anoint the ordinary. He does not place the hand of power on those whose path is easy, whose journey is accepted without question. The anointed walk paths of resistance, and in that resistance, they discover a power that cannot be faked, cannot be replicated, cannot be borrowed. Every attack, every attempt to stop you, every moment of judgment is training you, sharpening you, and making your rise inevitable. It is not for them to understand your journey, your vision, or your destiny. Let them whisper, let them doubt, let them judge. Their disbelief does not alter the plan, does not diminish your power, does not weaken your calling. Their attacks are temporary. Their resistance is fleeting. Your anointing is eternal. You are moving in a force that no human logic can touch, a force that grows stronger with every attempt to contain it. And while they try to confine you within their narrow vision of what is possible, TMH is expanding you in ways they cannot perceive, giving you wisdom they cannot grasp, and courage they cannot imagine. There will be moments when you feel invisible, when it seems as though nothing is happening, when the silence of the world is deafening. These are the moments that matter most, for it is in the silence that the divine works most powerfully. It is in the unseen moments that your foundation is laid, your character is forged, and your purpose is clarified. Do not be distracted by the noise of impatience, by the longing for immediate recognition, or by the false approval of those who do not understand your calling. What TMH has placed on you does not require human validation to flourish. It only requires your faith, your persistence, and your refusal to be shaken by temporary opposition. And know this: the community that has tried to stop you will be forced to see what they ignored. They will witness the manifestation of your anointing, not because they were open to seeing it, but because the hand of God will make it impossible to ignore. They will watch you rise in ways they cannot explain, achieve victories they cannot dispute, and walk in favor that they cannot deny. Their disbelief, their doubt, their judgment will be powerless in the face of a life that has been consecrated, chosen, and appointed. And when that day comes, they will not only see your success, they will feel the weight of every word they spoke against you, every attempt they made to limit you, and every disbelief they tried to enforce. It will be undeniable, irrefutable, and permanent. This anointing does not come with guarantees of ease, comfort, or applause. It comes with challenges that test every part of your being: your patience, your courage, your faith, your integrity. And yet, these challenges are proof that you are walking a path reserved for the chosen, a journey that requires strength that ordinary circumstances could never produce. Every difficulty you face, every trial you endure, is evidence that TMH is preparing you for a life of purpose that cannot be replicated. You are being elevated in a way that requires you to grow, to adapt, to refine, and to become more than you ever thought possible. Some of you may feel isolated. You may feel that no one sees your struggle or understands your journey. But remember, you are never truly alone. The presence of TMH is constant. His power is unmatched. His plan for your life is flawless. Every moment of doubt, every whispered attack, every attempt to diminish your worth is a part of the process, a part of the preparation for a rise so dramatic that those who tried to stop you will have no choice but to recognize it. They cannot stop what has been appointed. They cannot reverse what has been anointed. They cannot dim the light that has been set upon you. It is natural to feel the sting of their disbelief, the frustration of their rejection, the pain of their judgment. But let those feelings remind you not of your weakness, but of your strength. For if the world were easily won, if success was simple, if favor came without resistance, then your anointing would have no meaning. It is precisely because of opposition, because of the attempts to hold you down, that your rise will carry weight. Your journey will be a testimony that power, favor, and destiny cannot be stopped when the divine hand moves. Every setback is temporary. Every criticism is fleeting. But the anointing on your life is eternal. I want you to imagine the moment when that community, the ones who doubted you, mocked your dreams, questioned your potential, finally realizes that nothing they did could stop you. Imagine the faces, the expressions, the quiet acknowledgement that you were never to be contained, never to be limited, never to be silenced. This is not a fantasy. It is not a dream. It is a promise, and it is closer than you think. TMH is moving on your behalf, preparing you, positioning you, guiding you, and protecting you. What they tried to prevent is now unstoppable. What they ignored is now unavoidable. And what they doubted is now undeniable. Now take a moment to feel the weight of this truth. You are anointed. You are chosen. You are set apart. And there is no force on earth, no opinion, no whisper, no resistance that can reverse what has been appointed. Let that sink into your soul. Let it ignite a fire in your heart. Let it remind you that everything they have tried to do to stop you has been part of the process of preparing you for greatness, for impact, for influence that cannot be denied. And if this message is resonating with you, I want you to take a small but powerful action. Like, comment, and subscribe. Not because I asked, but because your engagement is an act of declaration. When you comment, you are saying, I recognize my anointing. I refuse to be hidden. I refuse to be silenced. When you subscribe, you are committing to a journey of growth, strength, and perseverance, allowing yourself to be reminded daily that your destiny cannot be stopped. And when you share, you extend this truth to someone else who may feel unseen, unheard, or underestimated. Your action may awaken courage in another soul, and together you become a wave too powerful to ignore. Continue to rise, continue to trust, continue to move, even when the path is hard. Do not let temporary opposition define your reality. TMH is moving. TMH is positioning. TMH is empowering, and the very community that has tried to stop you will be forced to acknowledge what they once dismissed. They will have no choice but to witness the magnitude of what has been placed in your hands. And in that moment, it will not be about revenge or proof. It will be about recognition of the truth that was always present, a truth that their disbelief could never erase. There will come a day that begins like any other, yet ends with a truth so undeniable that the world around you cannot ignore it. The community that has tried to contain you, that has whispered their doubts, that has underestimated you at every turn, will have no choice but to acknowledge what TMH has placed in your life. They will witness your strength, not because they suddenly believed in you, but because the divine power upon your life cannot be hidden, cannot be delayed, cannot be silenced. Every step you take, every victory you achieve, every moment you rise despite opposition will serve as undeniable evidence of the favor, the guidance, and the anointing that rests upon you. The journey has not been easy, and it will not be easy. Those who have tried to stop you will continue to test you, to doubt you, to push against you. But remember this: every test, every challenge, every attempt to hold you down is a confirmation of your purpose. TMH does not allow opposition without reason. Every trial is strategic. Every resistance is deliberate. Every obstacle is designed to mold you, to prepare you, to strengthen you, and to elevate you. What feels like struggle is actually strategy. What feels like attack is actually instruction. What feels like delay is actually preparation for a rise so monumental that disbelief cannot stand in its way. Understand that your anointing is not dependent on applause, on approval, or on recognition from those who cannot see your worth. It is dependent on faith, persistence, and alignment with the force that moves invisibly yet powerfully in your life. The hand of TMH upon you is not casual. It is not superficial. It is not fleeting. It is enduring. It is intentional. It is unwavering. And because of this, nothing, no one, no attack, no whisper, no force can alter what has been ordained. Even when the world looks like it is winning, even when the community that tried to stop you seems stronger, even when the doubts within yourself rise to the surface, remember this: you are chosen, you are set apart, and you are unstoppable. Your rise will not be immediate, nor will it always be visible. It will often be silent, subtle, hidden from the eyes of those who judge. Yet every step will be advancing you closer to your destiny. They may mock, they may scoff, they may even despair in their attempts to hold you back, but every effort they make is simply another confirmation of the inevitability of your success. Opposition, resistance, and disbelief are the shadows that define the light you carry. The greater the darkness, the brighter the anointing will shine. And when that light bursts forth, it will be undeniable, overwhelming, and transformative, not only for you, but for all who witness it. Do not let impatience or frustration cloud your vision. Do not let their disbelief plant seeds of doubt within your soul. Every moment is part of a divine timing that is orchestrated far beyond human understanding. You are moving in a timeline that cannot be rushed, a destiny that cannot be delayed, a favor that cannot be withdrawn. The community that has tried to stop you will eventually see it, not because they change, but because the power upon your life will not allow them to remain blind. What was once invisible to them will become unavoidable. What was once dismissed will become undeniable. What was once doubted will become a truth they cannot escape. Every challenge you face now is a preparation for the moment of witnessing. Every whispered doubt Every judgmental glance, every attempt to stop you, is a rehearsal for the undeniable demonstration of your anointing. They will be forced to see it, forced to acknowledge it, forced to reckon with it, because the force moving through you is unstoppable, because the hand of TMH does not fail, because your destiny cannot be denied. And in that moment, their disbelief will be meaningless, their opposition will be powerless, and their resistance will be irrelevant. Ladies and gentlemen, gather around because today we're going to talk about something they never saw coming. Something so profoundly chilling that even the most twisted of minds would be taken aback. You see, they thought disrespect was their weapon, their tool to wield power, their way to chip away at who you are, who you could be, and who you had the potential to become. They thought you were just another casualty in their battle to assert dominance. A pawn in a game they believed was theirs to win. But they were wrong. So wrong. They never realized that every word they spoke in disdain, every look of judgment, every slide and cut to your spirit, every effort they made to break you, was not a step toward victory for them, but a step toward their ultimate defeat. They thought they could control you, manipulate you, belittle you, and that you would cower under their power. They believed that in making you feel small, they could make themselves feel tall. But they never understood the power of silence. For silence, my friends, is not a weakness. It is a weapon far more dangerous than words, more cutting than insults, and more chilling than any act of aggression. The silence you now carry with you, the one they pushed you into, is the quiet before the storm. It is a silence they will never understand because they have mistaken it for something they can break. They've been reckless with their words, blind to the consequences of their actions. And now, in the cold, unyielding quiet, they will find their mistake. What they failed to see, and perhaps never will, is that silence is a reflection of your power, not your passivity. It's a deliberate, calculated decision. It's the calm after the storm, the moment you gather yourself and decide, for once and for all, that their disrespect does not deserve a response. It is a response in itself, a declaration that you are not bound by their opinions, their criticisms, or their need to drag you down to their level. When they disrespected you, they thought they were imposing their superiority over you, diminishing your worth, and making you doubt your own existence. But what they never accounted for was your strength, the strength that is born not out of loud proclamations, but in the quiet resolve of knowing your value, of standing in your truth, and of refusing to let anyone define you. They didn't realize that their words were simply the catalyst for your metamorphosis, pushing you into the silence where your power thrives. Now, in this silence, you are free. Free from their opinions, free from their judgments, free from the toxic noise of their manipulation. They have no power over you anymore, for you've taken that power back. And while they may wonder why you no longer engage with them, why you no longer react, they will never fully comprehend that it is not because you've given up. It is because you've chosen to rise above. They thought your silence was defeat, but in truth, it was your victory. They thought it was weakness, but in reality, it was your strength. Because you see, the silence you've chosen is not passive. It is not a retreat into a dark corner, a surrender to their cruelty. No, it is a retreat into your own mind, a sanctuary of self-respect, a safe space where you are not subject to their whims. It is the moment you have removed yourself from their chaotic, judgmental world, the moment you decided you would not engage with their negativity any longer. They thought they were breaking you, but what they never understood was that they were only forcing you to rebuild yourself. And now, as you stand in your silence, you stand in your power. They failed to break you. They failed to even make a dent in your armor. They've done nothing but illuminate their own insecurities, their own fears, and their own lack of understanding. They thought disrespecting you would make you crumble, but instead, it made you rise higher. Higher than they ever imagined you could go. Higher than they ever wanted you to go. They thought they could steal your voice, but all they did was give you the space to find your own. You no longer need their approval, their validation, or their recognition. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. You know the worth that they could never see, the depth of your strength they could never comprehend. Their insults, their jeers, their slights, none of it matters anymore because it no longer has the power to affect you. The only thing that matters is your peace, your sense of self, and the quiet strength you've cultivated within. Now, they are left in their own confusion, their own frustration. They were expecting a response, a fight, a challenge. They wanted you to come down to their level, to engage in their petty games, but you did not. You refused to be a part of their drama, their toxic cycles, and now they wonder why you no longer speak, why you no longer play the role they had assigned to you in their twisted narrative. They will never understand that your silence is your power, that your silence is your statement, and that in their inability to provoke you, they have revealed their own weakness. They've exposed the truth of who they are: small, insecure, fragile, and desperate for control. But they will never see the truth of who you are. They will never see the quiet warrior, the person who, though silent, is stronger than they ever were. They will never realize that their disrespect has only served to sharpen your resolve. It has only made you more determined to keep your peace, to guard your energy, and to rise above the noise. The silence you've embraced is not a void. It is a powerful force. It is the space where you have reclaimed your self-worth, where you have built your boundaries, and where you have rediscovered your own sense of purpose. It is the moment where you have let go of their need to define you and embraced your own ability to define yourself. And in that space, you are unbreakable. You are unstoppable. You are your own force to be reckoned with. They thought they could push you, prod you, provoke you, and that eventually you would break. But you never did. You just got stronger, more focused, more determined. And now, they are left with nothing but the silence they never understood. And in that silence, you have won. You have taken back everything they tried to take from you and more. They thought they could leave you in despair, but all they did was give you the strength to silence their voices and the freedom to move forward without them. So let them wonder, let them question, let them try to make sense of your silence, because the truth is, they will never understand it. They will never understand that disrespecting you only led them to your permanent silence, a silence that speaks louder than any word ever could. And in that silence, you have found your peace. In that silence, you have found your strength. In that silence, you have found yourself. The silence they never saw coming has become your greatest triumph. It is the final word in a battle they never understood. It is the victory they will never claim, because they never realized that silence is not absence. It is presence. It is power. And now, as they stand in the empty space they created with their disrespect, they are forced to face the truth they will never be able to ignore. The truth that you are beyond their reach, beyond their control, and beyond their understanding. And that, my friends, is the power of silence. You see, when they disrespected you, they thought it would break you. They thought their actions, words, and manipulation could shatter your spirit, like glass dropped on concrete. But they had no idea that you were forged from something stronger. You were not fragile, not brittle. Your silence is not a void of weakness, but rather a force of composure and clarity. Every time they pushed you, every time they tried to knock you down, you only stood firmer, more resolute in your understanding of who you are and who you were becoming. They thought they could wear you down, but they didn't understand that you were never meant to be worn down. You were meant to be refined, tempered, like steel in a forge. They didn't see that each moment of disrespect, each time they tried to tear you down, you were only growing stronger. You were only learning to protect yourself. You were learning how to close off from the toxicity, how to put up walls that would not make you hard, but rather create boundaries. Because you see, silence is not just the absence of sound. It's the presence of something far more significant. It's the presence of self-preservation, of boundaries that protect what is sacred, what is vulnerable, what is untouchable in you. The moment they disrespected you, they crossed a line. And instead of breaking, you retreated into that silence, into that protective space where you could rebuild, refocus, and strengthen yourself. And the beauty of that silence, the true power of it, is that it requires no validation. You don't need anyone's permission to be silent, to choose your peace. They never thought you would have the willpower to step away from the chaos they created. They thought you would react, you would lash out, you would fight back with fire, anger, and revenge. But no, you didn't. You simply chose to protect your energy, to protect your peace, and to stop engaging in their petty game. They didn't realize that by trying to control you, by attempting to provoke you, they were only empowering you. Their disrespect forced you to see just how much you could endure, how much strength you had within, and that strength grew in ways they could never have anticipated. The silence you carry now is not just the absence of noise. It is a reflection of your sovereignty. It is the acknowledgement that you are no longer beholden to anyone else's opinion or approval. You stand alone, powerful in your solitude, because you have learned that true strength is not in the noise, not in the endless back and forth, not in the toxic drama. True strength lies in knowing when to step away, knowing when to retreat, and knowing when to stop giving your power away. You have recognized that the most powerful response you can give them is nothing at all. You are silent because you know the truth, and the truth needs no defense. The truth of who you are, who you've become, is evident in the fact that you no longer seek validation from those who would never understand your worth. You don't need them. You never needed them. They thought that by disrespecting you, they could somehow reduce your value, but in reality, they only made it more evident to you. The fact that they tried to break you, the fact that they thought you would crumble, is proof of just how weak their understanding of strength really is. They thought they were cutting you down, but all they did was expose their own inability to recognize true power. Power isn't about being loud, being dominant, or putting others down. True power is quiet, it's composed, and it's centered in self-understanding. True power is knowing exactly who you are and who you aren't, and standing firm in that truth, no matter what anyone else tries to say. They thought their disrespect was a weapon, a way to keep you in line. But weapons only have power if you allow them to. The moment you decided to silence their voices in your life, you took the power back. You were no longer a victim of their words, their actions, or their manipulation. You became the author of your own story, and you chose silence as your weapon, as your shield. And in that silence, you found your voice. Not the voice they tried to take from you, not the voice that would respond to their petty games, but the voice that speaks with clarity and purpose. The voice that speaks when you choose to speak and remains silent when you know that silence is the answer. Now they wonder, don't they? They wonder why you no longer react. They wonder why you no longer engage. They thought they could drag you down to their level and play their game. But what they never understood is that you don't have to play by their rules. You've set your own rules. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them an emotional outburst, a dramatic response. You don't owe them anything. You owe it to yourself to stay true to who you are, to preserve your peace, and to stand in your own power, silently, unshakably. The truth is, the disrespect they showed you was not a reflection of your worth, but a reflection of theirs. It was their way of projecting their insecurities, their fears, and their inadequacies onto you. But you are no longer a mirror to their faults. You are a mirror to your own strength, your own growth, and your own evolution. They thought they could make you doubt yourself, make you feel less than. But the only thing they succeeded in was making you realize how much more powerful, more grounded, and more resilient you are than they ever imagined. And so now, in this silence, you are not empty. You are full. Full of your own potential, full of your own purpose, and full of your own truth. The silence you carry is a reflection of your growth, of your ability to let go of the noise and focus on what truly matters. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow the toxicity of others to define you. You have chosen peace. You have chosen to take control of your energy and protect it from those who would seek to drain it. You have chosen silence as your sanctuary. They may never understand this, and frankly, they don't need to. The silence you've created in your life isn't for them, it's for you. It's a space where you can breathe, where you can heal, where you can rebuild your soul without the noise of their cruelty echoing in your mind. It is a space where you can reflect on your worth, rediscover your strength, and move forward without the weight of their disrespect hanging over you. And it is in that silence, that space of inner peace, where you will continue to grow, continue to rise, and continue to evolve into the person they never wanted you to become. Their disrespect was nothing more than the catalyst that pushed you to your greatness. They never realized that by disrespecting you, they were setting the stage for your transformation. They thought they could break you, but they never knew they were only making you more powerful, more resilient, and more determined to succeed. They thought they were stealing your voice, but in truth, they only gave you the space to find it, to strengthen it, and to make it more formidable than ever. Now, as you continue on your journey, don't look back. Don't waste another thought on those who tried to disrespect you, who tried to tear you down. They are insignificant in your story now. They are nothing but background noise in the symphony of your life. They are a chapter that is closed, and your book continues without them. And as you move forward in silence, remember that silence is not your weakness. It is your power. It is the most profound statement you could ever make, that you are no longer defined by their cruelty, their disrespect, or their attempts to control you. You are defined by your silence, by your strength, and by your unwavering belief in your own worth. When they first disrespected you, they were not just disrespecting you in that moment. They were disrespecting everything you had fought for, everything you had endured, everything you had become. They didn't realize that in their attempts to break you down, they were actually feeding the fire inside you, the fire of self-respect, of self-worth, of a soul too strong to be rattled by their petty cruelties. They thought they could diminish your light, but in doing so, they only made it burn brighter. You see, they never understood that silence is not simply the absence of sound. It is the absence of their control over you. It is the absence of their influence in your life. Silence is your escape from their attempts to manipulate you, to make you conform to their whims, to make you feel small in a world that is large enough for you to take up space. It is the ultimate act of freedom, the freedom to walk away, to disengage, to stop giving your energy to people who will only use it to try and diminish you. Think of it. The loudest thing in the room is often the silence. When people can no longer provoke you, when they can no longer get under your skin, when they realize that no matter how much they shout, how much they insult, how much they manipulate, you will not respond. That silence is deafening, And that silence is your declaration of power. Because it says, I do not need to justify myself to you. I do not need to explain myself to anyone. I know who I am, and I will not let you define me. They believed they could win by making you angry. They believed they could break you down, get you to lash out, to lose control, to show them how much you hurt. But they don't realize that your silence is the strongest response they could have ever received. You didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing you suffer. You didn't give them the pleasure of watching you lose your composure. You took back the power they thought they had over you, and the more they pushed, the more you withdrew. They couldn't handle it, could they? The silence, the way you turned away from them, the way you no longer cared about their approval, their judgment, or their manipulation. That's what hurt them the most. Realizing that you were no longer affected by them. They thought they could control your reactions, but in your silence, they found that they had no control over you at all. In the silence, you become untouchable. You become an enigma, a person who cannot be broken, because they no longer have the ability to wound you with words. They cannot trigger you because they don't know what will make you react anymore. Their insults bounce off of you. Their attacks have no place to land because you are no longer playing their game. You have risen above it, risen above the need to explain yourself, to defend your honor, to get angry. You understand that not every battle is worth fighting, that some fights are simply distractions meant to draw you into their chaos, and you refuse to engage with it. You don't need to. You've grown beyond that, and so you continue forward in silence. They expect you to retaliate, to prove something to them, to show them that you're still capable of fighting. But the truth is, you've already won. You don't need to fight anymore. The mere act of walking away, of not responding, of choosing peace over drama, is the ultimate victory. You are no longer at their mercy, no longer tied to their expectations. Your silence speaks volumes, but it is not for their benefit. It is for you. It is for your peace, your healing, and your evolution. When you stop engaging with their disrespect, something miraculous happens. You begin to heal. You begin to reclaim the parts of yourself that they tried to steal. You reclaim your self-worth, your dignity, your strength. You no longer allow others to define you or make you question your value. You no longer let their negativity invade your space. You become a fortress of peace and self-respect, standing tall in the face of any storm. Because you know that nothing they say can touch you unless you allow it to, and you no longer choose to allow it. But they will never understand that. They will never realize the depth of your silence. They will never grasp that your silence is the ultimate act of strength. In their eyes, silence may seem like surrender. It may seem like weakness. But in truth, it is the most powerful tool you possess. It is the tool that allows you to take control of your emotions, to distance yourself from their negativity, and to rise above their attempts to break you. The silence is a gift that you give yourself. It is the space you create to heal from the wounds they inflicted. It is the sanctuary where you can restore your energy, rebuild your confidence, and reclaim your sense of self. The more you choose silence over conflict, the more you reinforce your own boundaries, your own worth. You send a message to the universe, to the people around you, that you are not here to play small. You are not here to engage in their drama, in their games, in their disrespect. You are here to live your life with integrity, with dignity, and with a quiet, unwavering strength that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. The beauty of silence is that it allows you to take control of your narrative. When they try to make you feel less than, when they try to define you by their own insecurities, your silence becomes your shield. You no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer need to prove anything to them. The fact that you have chosen silence is the most powerful thing you could ever do. It is your final word. It is your way of saying, I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. I know who I am, and I am enough. And while they may wonder, while they may try to provoke you again and again, they will never understand that in silence, you have found something more powerful than any argument or any confrontation could ever give you. You have found peace. You have found strength. You have found your own voice, and it is not the voice that shouts, that fights, that engages in petty games. It is the voice that stands strong in silence, unshaken by the noise of the world around you. But don't think for a moment that this silence means you are weak. Do not mistake it for submission. It is not weakness to refuse to engage with those who would tear you down. It is not weakness to protect your peace. It is not weakness to distance yourself from toxic people who only seek to drain your energy. In fact, it takes incredible strength to choose silence over conflict, to choose healing over bitterness, to choose peace over chaos. It takes strength to walk away from those who try to hurt you, to let go of the people who would bring you down. And it takes even more strength to hold your head high, to stand tall, to keep moving forward, while they remain stuck in their own drama, their own negativity, and their own need for control. They may never realize the true consequences of disrespecting you. They may never understand that every word, every insult, every attempt to diminish you has only made you stronger. They may continue to wonder why you don't react, why you no longer engage with their games. But that is not for you to answer. That is not for you to explain. The silence speaks for itself. It says everything they need to know, but they will never fully grasp it. They will never understand that in trying to break you, they have only made you unbreakable. And as you continue on your journey, let the silence guide you. Let it be the reminder that you are in control. Let it be the force that keeps you grounded in your truth. Let it be the powerful message that you no longer need to fight for your worth. You have already proven it to yourself. And that, my friends, is the greatest victory of all. In conclusion, when they disrespected you, they thought they were winning. They thought they could break you, diminish you, and make you feel less than. But what they failed to realize is that their disrespect was the catalyst for your transformation. It pushed you into a space of silence, a space where you could reclaim your strength, your peace, and your sense of self. And in that silence, you found your power. And in that power, you have become unstoppable. Let them wonder. Let them question. You no longer need to explain. Your silence is your answer. And in that answer, you have already won.